3 years ago, I was thrown out of the country by the person I loved the most. 3 years later, I can finally return to my country, but I no longer love Alvis. It's just that everyone still looks at me with warning eyes. Daphne, do you still want to entangle with Alvis? Do you still want to ruin the relationship between Doris and Alvis? After 3 years abroad, you still haven't learned your lesson. Alvis, you should not have let him return to the country. Exactly. A bad seed like her should be in prison. She should die abroad. I just silently watched them. But later, I heard a piece of news and suddenly collapsed, mumbling to himself, Chasel, have you seen my Chasel? Please, don't die. You said you would come back to me. I've been mad for a long time. Finally, no one thinks I'm acting. Alvis ran through the crowd and hugged me, but his hands were all trembling. Daphne, what's wrong with you? Who is Chasel? Don't scare me. Okay, I returned to the country, and it hasn't even been an hour. I have already received more than 10 warning messages. How can you come back? Aren't there people abroad who hit you? You deserve it. How come the plane didn't explode and kill you? I didn't check the messages. I just took out my computer, opened my email, and quickly sent an email. I only sent a simple message. I have safely returned home. Email sent. The other person's avatar is all black. She never replied again. I stared blankly at the computer. Hearing footsteps, I turned off the computer. The woman had her hair up in a high bun. It was my mother. Daphne, why are you looking at me so strangely? I remained lost in thought for a while longer. My mother wiped her tears and left. That night, I heard the sound of something breaking in the study. Is it our fault? She pushed Miss Doris down the stairs, and she was unconscious for 3 months. Don't say anything more. It's all over. Alvis and Miss Doris are about to get engaged. Now is not the time to cause any trouble. My hand holding the water glass trembled slightly. I turned around and left quietly. Early in the morning, I sat in silence in front of the computer. I went downstairs in the middle of it to get something to eat. My mom was watching TV in the lobby. The TV content suddenly announced, breaking news. The Carlton family announces that in mid-next month, they will hold Mr. Alvis and Miss Doris's engagement ceremony. I was stunned. Is the engagement being held on an island? Once upon a time, it seems I also clung to Alvis. I begged. The island is very romantic. Shall we get engaged there? Okay. He just had a very indifferent and annoyed expression. Daphne, can you stop making a fuss? I am working. Seeing him unhappy, I immediately sat quietly beside him. Okay. I won't say anything. You just focus on your work. Memories flashed by. I spaced out. My mom saw me and was startled. Daphne, why did you come downstairs? Are you going out? Where are you going? Mom will go with you. She has already instructed someone to get the bag. Looking for the remote again to turn off the TV screen. Watching her nervous and awkward movements, I understood. She is just scared. And I, like back in the day, will stick to her like chewing gum, Alvis. But, Mom, I won't do it anymore. I will never do it again. Don't go out. Come down and get something to eat. What? I have already taken a bottle of milk and turned to go upstairs. I reached the stairs. Mom was still very surprised. Daphne, you. I sniffed. Mom, you can watch TV. I'm going upstairs to work. After Carlton's family announced their engagement news, some old stories have been brought up again, including the rumors. I was crazy back then and pushed Doris down the stairs. Half of the netizens send their blessings, while the other half scold me. Wow, it's finally announced. Congratulations. Hee hee. May you have 100 years of harmony and early blessings. You must be happy. Where is Daphne? Is she too jealous to come out? It is said that they were forcibly sent abroad. How bad? Do they really think that by harming others, Alvis will like her? After all the scheming. Haha. In the end, it still didn't succeed. Bad people will not have good rewards. I numbly watched and closed the web page. It was just at dinner that I didn't expect my dad to bring Alvis along. I happened to go downstairs to prepare for dinner and saw this scene. I stood at the stairway. My whole body went numb. How could he appear at Driscoll's house? He is the dignified Mr. Carlton. Any news will be known at the first moment. Nature already knows I am back. No, I can return to my country because he eased up. And only then did my dad dare to bring me back. My dad asked him to go to the study. He also signaled my mom to quickly take the dazed me away to avoid causing trouble. I lowered my head and followed my mom to sit in the living room. The door to the study was not closed. Just by turning my head, I could see that tall figure, dressed in pure black suit, with neat short hair. He is always the king among men. No one is more handsome or charismatic than him. I turned my head to take a look. It seems that Dad is looking for something. Alvis hasn't even taken a seat yet. The tea on the table hasn't been drunk either. After taking the item, I am about to leave. Daphne, help Mom take a look at this bag. How is it? My mom wants to divert my attention. I turned back to help my mom check. Mom, it looks pretty good. 5 minutes later, a pair of long legs walked out. My mom got up and politely urged me to stay. Alvis said, "Why don't you stay for dinner before you leave?" Of course, we both know he won't stay at the Driscolls. But the Carltons are not to be offended by anyone. Alvis finally turned sideways and gave me a glance. The only one since he entered. That glance. What kind of look was it? Indifferent. Disregarding. As if looking at a stranger. I sat stiffly on the sofa, not moving. If it were in the past, I would have probably excitedly gone over and linked my arm with his. One bite at a time, Alvis bro. But now, I am quietly, as if the person in front of me is no longer that important. He nodded slightly. No, Mrs. Driscoll, I have something to do. He lifted his foot, withdrew his gaze from me, and was about to leave in big strides. He took 2 steps. I suddenly clenched my fist and spoke out. Wait a moment. The person who took 2 steps stopped, stiffened for a moment, turned aside. My mom has already grabbed me in panic. Daphne, what is this? Alvis said he has something to deal with. I felt the pain that Mom pinched on my hand. His gaze also became a few degrees dimmer. What is it? Miss Daphne. That's fine. I no longer referred to him as Alvis brother. He also called me in an extremely indifferent manner. Miss Daphne. Not Daphne. Nor my name. I took a deep breath for a moment. There's something I need to give you. Just a moment. I pulled my hand out and ran upstairs. Enter the password. Open the innermost drawer. And take out a square box. Ran down the stairs. Downstairs. Everyone was looking at me coldly. It seems I am about to do something strange. When I took out the deep blue square box, everyone seemed to understand, and the coldness from my parents disappeared instantly. This is something I once asked Carlton grandmother for. It didn't seem like that, at all. When I handed it over, he was surprised. The dark look on his face also disappeared. Inside the box was an antique bracelet, passed down from the older generation of the Carlton family. No one ever approved of us, but Carlton grandmother really favored me. When I turned 20, she gave me this bracelet, which symbolized the future daughter-in-law of the Carlton family. For a while, I actually thought I would become the Carlton family's young mistress. Later, after a long time, I finally realized that they were all unrealistic and fragile dreams. There was a long silence. He finally reached out and took it. Alvis left with the bracelet. My mother came over and comforted me by patting my head. 1 week later, I started working at the city's 3rd hospital. I studied medicine in college, abroad, and then spent over 2 years in a medical research institute. Still, my parents were a bit worried. I knew they had sent someone to follow me. I'm not angry. After all, Alvis and Doris' engagement is not something I can interfere with. This would harm Driscoll family. I wanted to tell them that it wouldn't happen. The past Daphne is already dead. The current Daphne doesn't love Alvis. I didn't expect that I hadn't been working in the hospital for a few days. Doris ended up taking my appointment. We sat opposite each other. The air was awkward. She said she had a slight cough, but seeing her very mild symptoms, I understood that she wasn't coming to see me for medical reasons. Just to see me. I prescribed her a little medicine. She held the prescription slip but hadn't left yet. She took off her sunglasses. Daphne, you've lost some weight. I don't want to get back into that old circle or those people. Moreover, Doris, we used to like the same man together. I lost completely. I avoided her topic and spoke in a cold tone. The pharmacy is on the 1st floor. I need to see the next patient. She still didn't leave, staring at me. You seem to have changed completely. You used to be the most lively one among us. How come you're so quiet now? I smiled. Miss Doris, are you here to see the doctor? Or for some other purpose? She didn't say anything. She put on sunglasses and left. Just at the moment she pulled the door to leave, I looked at her feet. 3 years ago, she fell down the stairs and hurt her leg badly, having several surgeries. At that time, she also bled a lot. That's also why I ended up taking the blame. At that time, only the two of us were on the upper floor. I tried to strongly defend that she had fallen by herself. No one believed it. Alvis picked her up, full of concern. Alvis, it wasn't me who pushed her. I hurried to explain. But before I could finish speaking, he kicked me in the stomach. Go away. That was the first time I was beaten. It was also his first time beating a girl. It didn't take 2 days. I received Carlton's lawyer's lawsuit notice. Doris is not Carlton's family member. She is Alvis who wants to help her get justice. I almost went to jail. It was said that because of Carlton the old man's intervention, I was allowed to leave the country instead. I instinctively touched my stomach. He kicked me with a lot of force. Now, on every rainy day, this part of my stomach hurts. I saw Alvis again in a bar. Hospital department gathering. Our private room happened to be next to theirs. The young Dr. Bob was drunk and asked Doris for her number. Doris slapped him. This slap made everyone in the private room come out. Among the crowd, I immediately saw Alvis. Doris also immediately ran into his arms. Alvis, I encountered a pig's hand. Bob Doctor defended himself. I just wanted your number. I didn't touch you at all. Madam, on the contrary. Why did you hit me? Even if you don't give it, you can't hit me. The person in front of him, Alvis. His eyes turned dark. I clenched my fists. The director finally recognized that the person in front was Alvis, and quickly stepped forward to pull Bob. Shut up. Didn't you recognize who he was? This is Alvis, sir. Mr. Carlton. Apologize to Mrs. Carlton immediately. Bob was scolded by the director, and his mind suddenly became much clearer. But he was still too young, still trying to defend himself. Mr. Carlton, I think I don't need to apologize. I didn't hurt Mrs. Carlton. I didn't even touch a single finger of Mrs. Carlton. I swear. What I said is absolutely true. I clenched my fists tightly. Bob really has a short circuit in his brain. He didn't know that every word he said could cost him a great deal. Is that so? So, you're saying that Doris accused you falsely. Alvis narrowed his eyes slightly. The aura he radiated instantly made people avoid him. No one dared to move in the entire corridor. Still staring. Apologize. Director reprimanded Bob, then turned to Alvis and became subservient. Mr. Carlton, a young graduate, doesn't know his place. But Bob didn't know where the strength came from. But he refused to apologize. Take us to the private room. Alvis nodded slightly and ordered the people by his side. What are you? What are you doing? Let me go. This. No more than a minute had passed when a muffled sound of bones falling on flesh came from inside. And Bob in pain. The director was panicked. But it still couldn't stop Bob's fate. Others could only keep their heads down like quails. Who would dare offend the biggest entrepreneur in Beijing? Alvis. When he joined the company, Bob helped me with the procedures. Although I felt sorry for him, I could do nothing but look at him from the other side. But I didn't expect it. Alvis let go of Doris, glanced at me, and stepped in front of me, staring at me closely. Daphne, what's going on? I didn't understand for a moment what he was talking about, but I still believed Bob, and wanted to take the opportunity to save Bob. Mr. Carlton, I believe Bob said. He has already been slapped. There's no need for another apology. After I said that, I felt sweaty all over my head, until he curled his lips. I thought he was willing to believe, but instead, what he said was, Daphne, did you order him to harass Doris? You still don't change. Scheming to harm others. If we're not here today, what would that drunk colleague of yours do to Doris? Would he destroy her? My mind couldn't process it for a moment. He didn't believe it. And even, he thought it was me who had instructed it. He pressed too close. His intimidating presence made me feel unsteady. Mr. Carlton, you're joking. I don't have that kind of courage. I forced myself to stand, and smiled weakly. He still didn't let me go. His piercing gaze made me feel a numb and cold sensation in my abdomen. You don't have that kind of courage. But 3 years ago, you dared to push someone down the stairs. Now you've changed your weak appearance. Do you really think you can fool people? He directly pressed my head against the wall. I couldn't move. My colleagues were also shocked. The director stepped forward once, and he shouted angrily, "Get out." No one dared to approach again. I looked behind me. Those still familiar faces. Just like 3 years ago when I was kicked to the ground by Alvis. They also had the same expression of satisfaction and superiority. I looked at the person in front of me, as if they wanted to kill me, hating me to the core. I suddenly felt very tired, shrugged my shoulders and laughed. Just admit it. Yes, Mr. Carlton, it was me who ordered it. So don't hit Dr. Bob. Hit me. Let him go. Take me instead. Beat me to death. The more I spoke, the more excited I became. Bob's screams became more painful. I don't know where the courage came from. I looked him straight in the eyes. Did you hear me? I said it was me who ordered it. Come at me. Hit me. Punch me. I was so angry, like an angry little leopard. But my tears kept falling uncontrollably. My provocation didn't work. Bob was beaten badly. On the way back, I was walking along the river. A car suddenly stopped, and I was pulled into it and the door was shut. There were 3 men in the car, tall and strong. I screamed for help, but I was hit in the face and knocked out. When I woke up, I was in a strange, cold villa. Where am I? Who are you? There were people in the room, but no one answered me. I touched my body, relieved to find my phone still there, and quickly took it out. But my first thought was not to call the police, but to send a lot of emails to the black profile. My whole body was trembling uncontrollably. Master, she is using her phone. Will she call the police? I turned my head up in tension upon hearing the voice. The person who entered was Alvis. I was stunned, but he came over with a cold expression, and I became even more scared. So I sent another email. However, every email always ended up sinking without a trace. My phone was taken away. What are you sending? I turned off the screen. There's no fingerprint. He can't unlock my phone. I just reacted with anxiety. Alvis, what did you tie me here for? He only looked at me coldly. He is too tall. I am stuck on the sofa. I noticed my clothes had slipped off my shoulder. Not sure if it was my imagination, but I felt his eyes fixed on my exposed shoulder. I quickly pulled it back up. Then he scowled again. What are you looking at? Maybe. This is the first time I've ever spoken to him so harshly. I'm really scared. Where is this? What is he going to do? But he didn't even respond to me. He went straight up the stairs. I took the phone from the table and was about to run out. The security guard at the door blocked me. I turned my head. Alvis was standing in the middle of the stairs looking at me. Don't waste your time. This is my territory. Can you leave without my permission? My temples were pulsing. What are you going to do? It's late. I need to go home. I told Mr. Driscoll, I need to see you. And he agreed. What? My dad knows. I was taken by him. That's right. 3 years ago, Alvis told me to leave the country. And my dad didn't even dare to argue, even if I was taken by Alvis. And he wanted to take it up with me. He could only agree. I felt completely drained. But what is he going to do? I see. It's at the bar. The things I said. In the bar. The provocation didn't work. Not that. Driscoll family also has some status. He doesn't want to reprimand me in front of those people. So he brought me to his territory to reprimand me. I immediately understood and realized. I stood there with courage and dignity. Don't go. Let your people fight. After the fight, I'll leave. I don't have time to waste with you. The people in the stairwell seemed to have heard it. In disbelief, I simply stepped down. What did you say? Once. For this face, I could live or die. But why? Now I just feel it's hypocritical. I just feel that the past me was so silly. Don't pretend. You just want to take Doris's side. Right. Hit me. As long as you don't kill me, I'll still leave. You guys' place. I feel like I can't breathe. I don't know which sentence upset him. He suddenly grabbed my neck. Say it again. My territory. You staying there. Can't breathe. I tried to pry his fingers off, but couldn't. So I just gave up. But he suddenly let go. I leaned against the wall, coughing violently. Daphne, if you don't want to die, stay quiet. He went up the stairs again. He left me and 2 bodyguards downstairs. I stayed up until the early hours. I walked all over the first floor, but couldn't find a way to run out. Finally, I was both cold and hungry. I lay down on a bed on the first floor and covered myself with a blanket. In and out of consciousness. I had nightmares. I dreamed of my days abroad. I kicked and struggled. Don't come near me. Get away. I don't have any money left. Really, I don't. Please let me go. It hurts. Dad. Mom. Save me. Why can't I sell blood anymore? It's still possible. I can endure it. I really need money. Doctor. Every time I fall into a nightmare, I can't seem to wake up, only when all the nightmares are over, as if punished. Can I be released? In a daze, someone seemed to be standing by, shouting loudly. What are you still standing there for? Go get a doctor quickly. Yes, sir. The nightmare was finally interrupted. I turned over, bent down, and fell back to sleep. Not long after, it seemed like someone was touching my hand. Then, a cool liquid flowed along my arm and throughout my body. My uncomfortable body felt a bit better. How is she? She's still feverish. After 3 bags of intravenous fluid, her fever should go down. The conversation continued. There's a room next door. You can go rest there. Mr. Carlton, I can check Miss Daphne on her body. I need to take off her clothes. The person speaking stammered. I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything else. Come on. Mr. Carlton, what are you trying to say? This voice sounded exactly like Alvis. On Miss Daphne's body, there seemed to be many injuries. You go out first. In my sleep, I felt someone moving my clothes. I raised my hand instinctively to block, but my whole body was weak, and I still couldn't block. My upper body was stripped bare. I was very angry. Don't touch my clothes. Maybe it was the person's action, which was very gentle, so I wasn't so scared. I whispered, help me put it on. I might get cold and it will hurt again. Some of the wounds have healed multiple times but still didn't heal well. Dreamed. In the warmth, a drop of warm liquid fell on my chest. When my dream was deep, I actually dreamed of Alvis again, which I hadn't dreamed of for many years. Moreover, he also cried. In the dark dream, was I mistaken? I wanted to go over and get a better look, but it was already daylight. I opened my eyes, sat up, and saw the needle mark on my wrist. I shook my head a bit, and immediately got out of bed and walked out. But my body was still weak. I stepped out of the room. I saw a dish with a fragrant smell on the marble table. Hearing footsteps, I turned my head. It was Alvis in a light gray home outfit. I clenched my fist. Can I go home now? I told Mr. Driscoll that I need about a month. What? He didn't say anything else, and walked past me directly to the dining room and sat down. I looked at him coldly, trying not to be too confrontational. But I have to go to work. I'm going to be late. Immediately, he took out his phone and dialed a number. Director Tang. Daphne from the cardiothoracic department needs a 1-month leave. I was about to grab the phone to speak to the director. He had already hung up. Who do you think you are to decide for me? Don't be too overbearing. He just looked at me for a moment. By virtue of the Driscoll family's company's fate, I have the final say. Is that a good enough reason? I took a step back quickly. Alvis went to the company. My phone was also gone. I was very nervous and looked everywhere for my phone. Miss Daphne, are you looking for your phone? Mr. Carlton took it. I hurried to the landline and called Alvis to get my phone back. But the person on the other end didn't answer. I'm furious. I was Alvis imprisoned. But I can do nothing. A long time ago, they had already broken my wings, and I could no longer fly. Until this day, Alvis didn't go to work. Doris also came. She should know I was here. When she came, her face was very pale. She didn't enter the house. Doris looked at me, who was bandaging a stray dog, and almost started a fight with Alvis. No woman can allow her fiancé's home to have another woman. Just this time, Alvis seemed not to comfort Doris. A tall figure, carrying a hint of indifference. Then, Doris followed Alvis upstairs. Through the villa's glass, I could see them going upstairs. I didn't dig deeper, and rubbed the bandaged stray dog. Half an hour later, I entered the villa. Doris was just coming down the stairs. I walked in without avoiding. Sure enough, she turned cold and slapped me. Slut. Her voice was loud. Standing at the staircase, Alvis just happened to witness this scene. I looked up towards the upper floor. In turn, I gave her a louder slap. You're scared, aren't you? But I'll make you suffer. You don't know, do you? These past few days, I've been sleeping in his bed. As expected, Doris had eyes wide open. She almost lost her balance. She ran away, completely unable to accept the situation. I laughed coldly towards the stairs. She should be dead. I really want to kill her. The person upstairs was squinting, looking at me dangerously. I waited for a few seconds, but he didn't come down to confront me. I took the disinfectant and went out again to find the stray dog. At night, I finally couldn't hold on anymore. Alvis must be a master of psychological warfare. No one can beat him. I appeared at the door of the study. He heard the footsteps and let out a faint snort, turning his head slightly. What is it? I laughed coldly. Alvis, are you not wanting to get married anymore? He put down the document, as if he was all ears, ready to hear a great argument from me. I'm not a business genius. I really don't understand Alvis's approach. You locked me up here. Isn't it because you're afraid I'll ruin your wedding a week from now? You're being too shrewd. Anyone looking at me, you don't trust. You have to have me under your nose, don't you? But you're wrong. No woman can tolerate another woman in her fiancé's house. If you continue like this, I guarantee you will lose Doris. Have you finished? His calm reaction made me feel like every punch I threw was hitting a cotton ball. Also, don't be so full of yourself. For 3 years, you left me abroad. Have you ever thought about what kind of life I've been living? Did you really think I was abroad? Studying and going to school. Could it be that it's a life so unbearable that I can't cry out to heaven or call to earth? Whatever the case, the Daphne who once loved Alvis is now Daphne who doesn't love Alvis anymore. My words seemed to have deeply angered him. His pen in hand had twisted out of shape. His forehead had veins bulging out. Daphne, if you don't want to die, go back to your room immediately. I took a deep breath. I want to go home. I can't take it anymore. I'll go abroad and never come back. Suddenly, he grabbed me. Say that again. I thought I would be strangled to death. But within a few seconds, he let me go and threw me back into my room. Can't get out. I started asking for some neuroscience books. Alvis didn't refuse. He had hundreds of them delivered to me. From then on, I didn't argue with him anymore. I spent day and night studying the materials. No one understands me. Why would I read books about brain surgery? Alvis could not understand either. He did ask me once, do you feel something wrong with your head? I ignored him. He asked me again later. Daphne, you are abroad. Do you have friends? Did his head get injured? I suddenly raised my head. What did you say? Head. Injured. What is his name? I suddenly got up and excitedly grabbed him. Alvis, do you know something? Tell me. Hurry up. Tell me. Alvis was confused. His brow furrowed. What's wrong with you? Daphne, stay calm. From then on, I became increasingly gloomy. Even started to stop eating. In fact, I didn't intentionally stop eating. I just don't feel like eating anything. I don't want to eat. Sometimes, I think it would be nice to quietly leave this world. The world is big, and it doesn't need me. But Alvis doesn't allow it. After finding out I hadn't eaten for several meals, he actually brought me food, forcefully held me in his arms, pried my mouth open, and fed me spoonful by spoonful. But I also didn't swallow. Several times, I almost choked to death. Cough cough. He got angry. Daphne, you really want to die? I brushed the residue from my lips and laughed coldly. Yes. You're afraid I'll die in your house. Afraid of bad luck. Alvis, the more you're afraid, the more I'll do it. You're a devil. If you're unhappy, I'll be happy. He let go of me. I saw in his eyes a sense of defeat. The calculating Alvis. As if he also felt completely powerless. I thought he had finally given up. But I didn't expect. The next second, he took a big mouthful of rice, chewed it up, and then fed it to my mouth. I quickly pulled back. But he really was crazy. He didn't care about my tongue being bitten, and forced the rice to my throat. I was forced to swallow. I bent over and grabbed my throat. He let go of me. Since you won't eat nicely, I don't mind feeding you myself. Not long after, he again served the food and fed it to me. I didn't dare to argue anymore. So I just opened my mouth obediently and chewed and swallowed. Just one meal. We both had red eyes, as if wanting to devour each other. I was right. Doris is here again. This time, what she saw was even more painful, because since the last time he fed me, I will never dare to defy Alvis again. Otherwise, he definitely has more radical ways to force me. Even, he forced me to sleep with him. However, there was a galaxy between us. His reason was, whenever it thundered, I would scream loudly and wake him up. Sleeping next to him, I would be much better behaved. This reason was very absurd. But I couldn't argue back. Because I argued, he even came to kiss me. He said I spoke rudely. Since he told me to shut up, I didn't shut up. So he simply covered my mouth. This time, Doris came, and happened to see us lying in the same bed. It's also strange. I was lying in Alvis's arms, Every time. We were lying next to our own edges of the bed. We never touched each other. But this time, we ended up lying together. I was very confused. I usually sleep in a fixed position. It never changes. Alvis was surprisingly calm. Doris saw it. And of course, she went into a frenzy, pulling us. What are you doing? Daphne. You bitch. I'll kill you. Why won't you leave me alone? And you still want to compete with me for Alvis. Are you trying to kill me? I was grabbed by Doris by the hair. Soon after, she was thrown away by Alvis, with such force that she even fell against the wall. She was completely broken down. Her eyes were red. I wanted to open my mouth to explain. You misunderstood. We didn't. But when the words were on my lips, I closed my mouth again. This explanation, maybe no one can believe. And why do I need to explain? 3 years ago, she clearly said I pushed her down the stairs. I ultimately said not a single word, just looked at her coldly. The commotion didn't last long, and the room became quiet. Alvis calmly led her to the study. They talked for a long time. I could still faintly hear the sound of breakdown coming from inside. I was just sitting on the bed, lost in thought. I just felt that the noise of this world had nothing to do with me. But I still caught one sentence clearly. It's not a contract. I really mean it. Alvis, we are getting engaged in 3 days. I will become your wife. I don't agree. The matter of your Carlton family announcing the cancellation of the engagement tomorrow. I must marry you. Please, let me marry you. Doris's voice is about to melt away. I also heard Alvis, with a cold, robotic attitude. Doris, what do you want to do? It was all just to help your Doris family stabilize the stock, and to repay your Doris family an old favor. I grabbed my head. What did I hear? They are in a contract relationship. Not really engaged. I caught my mind. It just felt chaotic. It's impossible to explain. I don't know how much time had passed, but they stopped talking and suddenly stood at my door. Doris coldly looked at me. She suddenly spoke. Alvis, haven't you noticed? She's not the same as the previous Daphne. She's now blank-eyed and no longer loves you. As long as she agrees to marry you, I'll immediately step back and never bother you again. Okay. I took my hand away from my head and looked at the two of them in confusion. Alvis seemed a bit shaken, but he still stood by my side and gently held my hand. Daphne, don't be afraid. I frowned at him. What are you talking about? He brushed the hair from my face. What I'm about to say is true. Every word. After tightly holding my hand for a moment, he then gently let go and took out a red velvet box from his pocket. Click open. Inside was a 10-carat diamond ring shining brightly. Doris was shocked. You. Alvis took my hand and gently kissed the back of it. For some reason, I felt his hand trembling. Just as I was about to pull my hand back quickly, Alvis knelt on one knee. Daphne, will you marry me? As long as you are willing. From now on, Carlton family, you have the final say. I also have the final say. I will love you forever, and atone for it with the rest of my life. I couldn't understand anything anymore. Alvis, what are you talking about? I don't understand a word. Am I dreaming? I pinched myself, and it hurt. It's reality. I completely can't understand it. Daphne, I will cherish you 1,000 times more in the future, and make you the happiest person in the world. Promise me. Okay. I never liked anyone else before. I just thought you were always clinging to me, and I got a bit annoyed. My rebellious nature made me want to push you away, to be alone and quiet. But in my world, it was always only you. I was so foolish. I was completely wrong. You are lively and active. But I always thought that my wife should be a bit more quiet. So I thought I was annoyed with you and sent you abroad, hoping that after some experience, you would become more composed. But I was wrong. You are you, and you don't need to change at all. This foolish decision later proved to be even more harmful to you. I felt like a criminal guilty of the worst crimes. I blinked. What did I just hear? I watched. His long fingers were already slightly trembling. Alvis. His face was fully focused on me, although he was still wearing the shirt and trousers from yesterday. But he was naturally a model, and he still looked formal. On the contrary, me, with a messy hair, looking pitiful. People who don't know the situation must think I'm very happy, like a Cinderella who was proposed to. It had been a while. I finally opened my mouth. But Alvis, I don't like you anymore, and I won't marry you. The person on his knees trembled violently upon hearing it, parted lips, and it was hoarse. Daphne. You want to make a scene. Right. It's okay. I know you've been through a lot. And it's my fault. You can hate me. I can kneel all day today. Until you feel a little less angry. I seem to have heard a huge joke. Looking at him with a cold smile. Alvis. You don't understand. What I mean is, we will never be together. Each word was more cruel than the last. You can forget this. Even if you kneel until next year. I will never accept it. I was calm and indifferent. A scene I once dreamed of has finally come true. But I felt no happiness at all. Time is cruel. It has changed a girl. The best dream she once had. Get up. Don't kneel anymore. I've already rejected you. Almost simultaneously. His eyes were red. His whole body was trembling. His eyes were filled with red tears. Staring at me in a scarlet way. And even managed to force out a smile. Daphne. Don't say desperate words. After marriage, I will do my best to make up for it. Even if you want to stab me several times. Take my life. It's all okay. Just accept me now. Okay. He held my hand tighter. As if holding the most precious treasure in the world. I know I was wrong. Give me another chance. Okay. But I felt no compassion. Alvis, I'll assume what you said is true. But I no longer love you. I don't want to marry you anymore. I haven't finished speaking yet. You want to get married? Go ahead and marry anyone. Just not me. If I have to say it. I could marry anyone. As long as that person isn't you. My words finally broke him completely. He could barely kneel anymore. Only his hand holding mine. Getting tighter and tighter. I took out my hand. Lifted the blanket. And got out of bed. Alvis, can I leave now? I took a step forward. And he caught my wrist again. It was only then that I calmly realized. His wrist was extremely hot. He seemed to have a fever. Don't go. Think it over again. Really, I can give up everything to marry you. Do you want to? Daphne. I was too despicable before. I will never betray you again. A hot liquid dripped down from the place where we were holding hands. Not mine. In this kind of situation, I can't cry. I have to restate. Alvis, can't you understand? I said I don't want to. I will never want to. Did you hear me clearly? I tried to pull my hand away. He was holding it too tightly. I had to turn back, prying his fingers off one by one. Hands apart. I left. The ring box he was holding in his other hand also fell with a clatter onto the soft carpet, making a dull thud. The three of us. I was numb. Alvis cried. Doris smiled. Alvis knelt there, crazily. Daphne. One last chance. You know, your Driscoll family business has always been taking Carlton family's business. Have you ever thought about why I would help Driscoll family? You are relying on Driscoll family company to get respect. If Driscoll family falls, what will your situation be? When that day comes, I will no longer help you, but treat you as a stranger. Have you really thought it through? I clenched my fists, but my face remained as calm as ever. Okay, from now on, we will be strangers. Goodbye, Mr. Carlton. Behind me. Alvis, I told you, you won't succeed. Then, we will still get married. Right. Carlton family held the engagement banquet that day. I went crazy. It was because, at the square, a piece of overseas news was announced. The genius of general medicine Chaucel, brain dead and overseas. It said that he had only one last message on him. Little kid, don't be afraid. I will always be here. I went out in the morning to go to the bookstore to pick up books on brain treatment. At the square, this news was announced. I couldn't move forward anymore. On the big screen, there was also his last image, lying on the operating table. I remembered everything. I liked the person named Chaucel. The streets of New York. When I was beaten and assaulted by hooligans. He saved me. He also wiped my tears. Don't be afraid. I'll protect you from now on. Since he appeared, no one has ever insulted me by saying, go back to your own country. No one, because I was beaten up every day for not being able to pay the protection fee. He is very good. He took me to see a psychologist. He also introduced me to a medical research institute so I could continue my studies. He is really gentle. I'll do it after I finish learning. We'll travel around the world. Eat the best food in the world. Then on a romantic beach. Put a ring on me. Always keep me in your circle. I said. The scars that those blacks made on me are so ugly. So terrible. He kissed me again and again. Not ugly. Fool. Not at all. Husband is just worried. It's just that my husband came too late. And didn't protect you well. I really love her. I have been studying hard. And I also hope to become someone as capable as him. I even want to graduate early and marry him right away. But, that afternoon on September 7th, a big truck came rushing. He pushed me away and fell asleep forever. I was convulsing all over, rushed through the crowd of people sighing under the big screen, tears flowing freely. I just felt so much pain all over. Can't breathe. It feels like suffocating, like dying from the pain. It's not true. It's not real, is it? I hurriedly opened my phone and remembered that number. It was connected. There was only sobs on the other end. I broke down and cried out loud. I quickly went towards the airport and booked a flight. On the way to the airport, I was Alvis blocked. Daphne, what's wrong with you? Stay calm. Alvis, let me go. I need to see the most important person. I kicked and bit him. I just cried and begged him to let me go immediately. Alvis, he's dead. I need to see him for the last time. Do you know? His name was Chaucel. He was the best person in the world. I woke up in the hospital, tied up tightly. Around me were a bunch of doctors in white coats, dressed formally. A mouthful of blood came out from my chest. The white cloth was stained red. Who tied me up? Where am I? Is this abroad? Chaucel, where is he? Take me to see him quickly. I struggled hard, but no one came to untie me. All of them acting as if they were not human. Mr. Carlton, Miss Daphne is very unstable. Her condition is also very bad. I finally saw. Alvis was also there in a black suit. He actually held the blood I spat out in his trembling hands. Looking at the blood swaying in his palm, his eyes turned red. Her voice was hoarse. Daphne, don't make yourself angry anymore. Okay, your body will completely break down. But I only pushed him a little. I need to see Chaucel. I need to find him. He's still alive, isn't he? He must still be alive. He promised me. He said he would marry me someday. The more I spoke, the more tears I shed, mixed with blood from my lips, struggling to break free from the ropes binding me. I was left with endless breakdowns. Who hypnotized me? Damn it. Why did you make me forget him? Damn it. I bit down hard on Alvis, demanding angrily. Alvis, is it you? Did you hypnotize me? Making me forget my most beloved person. Why are you such an idiot? He's dead. He was bleeding so much. I was holding his head. I wanted to put all that blood back into his body, but he was still smiling at me. With his last strength, he said, "Don't cry, okay?" I hate Daphne crying. I was convulsing. I was no longer able to control myself. I remembered everything, but my mind only held the memory of Chaucel lying in the operating room after the car accident. Just 3 days of memories. The rest is all blank, because I really didn't stay with him. I was hypnotized and forgot him, left the hospital, and never remembered him again. I only remember a very familiar email address, and when I'm sad, I send emails to it. I even went back to my home country. I completely forgot about him. I feel so guilty and so sad. My heart aches, and I miss him so much. Alvis has blood all over his hand, with a deep tooth mark. The doctors were worried about him and told him to go get cleaned and treated. I just turned my head away and bit my tongue hard. Alvis immediately came to pry my mouth open. Daphne, what are you doing? Let go. I promise you. Let go of my mouth, and I'll take you to see him right away. Upon hearing that, I immediately let go of my lips. He was tense and tried to pry my mouth open to check. I didn't allow him to touch me. Don't touch me. Alvis, you said you'd take me to see him, and now I want to go right away, I said loudly. But my body suddenly felt a sharp pain, and I lost consciousness again. When I woke up again, many days had passed. The ward was quiet, and no one was holding me anymore. But I was surprisingly calm, and I didn't run away. I saw the calendar. It has been 10 days since Chaucel passed away. I'm going now, but I might not even be able to see him for the last time before he's buried. I really am terrible. The person who loved me the most was in a car accident, brain dead, and I only stayed with him for 3 days before I forgot about him. I forgot about him abroad. Even after he died, I wouldn't go see him. Is there anyone in the world who is as heartless as me as a girlfriend? Damn it. I have no face to meet him at all. He must be very sad. He loved me the most when he was alive. In winter, I had a cold body, and he would boil hot water for me and help me soak my feet. In summer, he would warm up the ice pops for me before letting me eat them so I wouldn't get cold. Well, I won't go see him. No face. I don't even want him to see me. It would break my heart. He was so handsome, so warm, talented, and responsible. Next life, I will definitely meet the best girl in the world. Unlike me, I feel like a debt collector, a troublemaker, who he saved and took care of. In the end, he even lost his life saving me. What am I? A devil who deserves all the punishment. I should have died at the hands of those blacks. Not followed him home. If he hadn't met me, he wouldn't have died. He would have been just fine. He was so outstanding. Everyone said he was a genius doctor in all fields. How can I atone? Even dead, I can't make up for it. Daphne, I'll take you out for a walk. Okay. Alvis is here again. I didn't respond to him. I just stared blankly at the sparrows outside the window. He sat quietly by my bed, turning his head to look at me calmly. His eyes looked terrible. Sunken eyes. Red. Unshaven. Really ugly. How could I have thought he was handsome before? I was blind. Stayed silent for a long time. His ashes were brought back to the country and buried in the Redwood Cemetery. Are you not going to visit him? Without any warning, a tear dropped from my eye. Alvis touched my face to wipe it. Don't cry. You still have me. I will always be with you. I turned my head, full of disgust. His hand paused in the air, then finally fell weakly. I have investigated. After you went abroad, it wasn't what we imagined. Further study, learning. On the day the plane landed, the $1 million given to you by the family was stolen. You couldn't go to school, had no money, worked day and night, and when you had no way out, you even had to sell blood. Those people bullied you, beat you, constantly asked you for protection money. He couldn't continue speaking. He bowed his head deeply. Finally, he covered his face and burst into tears. So, he also knows Chaucel how good he is. It's Chaucel who redeemed me. He is the best person in the world. Alvis couldn't even compare to him with one finger. Alvis is crying louder and louder. I laughed mockingly. If this scene was photographed by the media, it would definitely get hundreds of millions of views. Carlton S. president, a 28-year-old man, is crying like a dog. I didn't feel anything. I just thought, it's really unpleasant to hear him cry. Maybe about half a month later, I still went to see Chaucel. On the tombstone, his photo, even in black and white, is still handsome. The person who placed the photo really knows how to choose. His lips curved into a smile, as if he wasn't angry at all. I, an unworthy girlfriend, ran away after his car accident. When he saw me, he was very happy. Chaucel, it's really good not to hate my feelings. In this way, I can still secretly love him, remember him, and recall him. Chaucel, is the world below cold? You always say I'm clumsy, but I knitted a scarf, specially for you. Don't you think it's ugly? I took out a warm red towel from my bag and wrapped it around the tombstone. I secretly sat with him for the whole afternoon. Just being sitting next to him makes me feel happy. Look, I just said, he is the best person in the world. He didn't blame me at all. He didn't send me away. I didn't want to leave either. Just stay with him like this. I remember I was sleeping next to Chaucel's tombstone. But when I woke up, I was at home. I looked around in confusion. Daphne, you're awake. Are you hungry? Mom made rice cakes. Would you like to have some? I sat up. Mom brought the rice cakes over and was about to feed me. I turned my head. Mom, where is Chaucel? I was with him just now. My mom put down the bowl and wiped her eyes. Daphne. Dad hugged my mom. But my mom cried even harder. It's our fault. Why didn't we resist back then? Or at least I should have gone with Daphne to go abroad. She wouldn't have suffered. What kind of day is this? Living is worse than dying. My dear child. It's too painful. Elsa. It's my fault. I'm so old and foolish. She said her money was stolen. And I didn't believe her. I even scolded her for lying and trying to come back with tricks. Daphne was always the best. She was so lively before. She was our little treasure. Look at her now. I'm really scared of her. Mom cried even harder. She was a premature baby. We promised that we would always take care of her. But we ended up ruining her. How much pain must those wounds have caused? Doris, this woman, is the one who deceived us. Full of tricks. I'll do everything I can to make her suffer. Don't worry. That woman once deceived everyone. Elsa. Driscoll family, even if they are ruined, I will make the person who harmed our beloved daughter pay a price she can't bear. I took a 3-month leave from the hospital, but I still went to work. Everyone at home was worried. But only when I was at work did I feel like a normal person. Even after work, I was still buried in the lab. I really didn't care about anything happening outside. I found out from my parents Alvis didn't get engaged with Doris. The marriage announcement was related to some kind of agreement, which has now been cancelled. Doris's home nowadays are very hard. The stock is still announced to be delisted. Doris's father was also found guilty of money laundering and was taken away. Doris and Doris's mother were preparing to go abroad, but were stopped by the police and are currently under house arrest. Mom and Dad are still talking. I stopped listening and went upstairs. Just Alvis. He often has health problems and appears at our hospital every few days. But he didn't come on my appointment. It's other doctors. That way, we might still run into each other at the hospital. I'm really annoyed, especially when looking into his eyes. I even felt full and didn't want to have lunch. But he still didn't realize it, staring at me, not moving his eyes away for a long time. If it weren't for him wearing a white coat, I would have wanted to hit him. On the day of the Mid-Autumn Festival, I fell asleep while sleeping. The room was locked. My parents suddenly became very worried. They pried the lock open and saw that I was just sleeping. They finally relaxed. When I realized, I guessed that they were afraid I was going to commit suicide. How could that be? I owe this life to Chaucel. Although my medical skills are not as good as his, I can still live on and contribute a small amount to medicine. I will not die. Mainly, someone like me is really not worthy to meet him again. I work and study hard, and my life is very fulfilling. Even with Alvis's relationship, there has been some improvement. The reason is that my father was diagnosed with liver cancer during a physical examination and needed a liver transplant. But neither I nor my mother were a match. Unexpectedly, Alvis came forward to be tested for matching, and he was a match. I was thinking about whether to ask him to try, whether he could donate a liver. He actually found me first. Daphne, I'm willing. Whatever amount Suzong needs, just take it from my liver. After hearing that, I was still shocked. The 6-hour operation ended, and the lead doctor announced that the operation was successful. Alvis donated liver, saved Dad's life. My attitude towards him improved a bit. That day, while I was doing an experiment in the lab, I suddenly felt my vision go dark and fainted. When I woke up, on a large bed, I rubbed my head and got up to go out. I figured out the layout. It's Alvis's house. I heard some noise from the adjacent room and looked over. It's Alvis, and an unfamiliar middle-aged man, maybe his friend, wearing a pair of glasses. He has a bit of a doctor's look. Alvis noticed and smiled at me. You're awake. You've been overworked, Mr. Driscoll said, and Mrs. Driscoll are away on a business trip. The hospital asked me to take care of you for now. I was stunned for a moment. Thank you. Snow was falling outside the window. A white, endless expanse. I couldn't wait any longer. I wanted to go downstairs and take a look. I went downstairs. Naturally, I didn't hear the continuing conversation in the room. Mr. Carlton, Miss Daphne has a delusion. A person named Chaucel who supports her in continuing to live, which is actually a good thing. Does she have any other illnesses? Will she be safe forever? No. Mr. Carlton, Miss Daphne, may you always be healthy and safe. The snowflakes are so beautiful. I stood in the snow, opening my palms, and the sparkling snowflakes fell into my hands. Do you want to build a snowman? I turned around, and there was Alvis, wearing a casual outfit, elegant and refined. I didn't answer, but I opened my phone and searched for a picture. He started building the snowman by himself. He brought some snow over to help me make snowballs. Later, with our combined effort, we built a lifelike snowman. I took a photo with my phone and posted it on my social media. I looked up and saw Alvis smiling gently at me. Daphne, it's been a long time since I've seen you smile. You smiled when you took the photo just now, and it was very beautiful. That night, I was very quiet. Just then, Alvis turned away and coughed violently. I saw that there was blood on his handkerchief. He quickly cleaned it up and turned back, as if nothing had happened, still gentlemanly, until he looked up at the falling snow. Daphne, our heads have all been turned white by snow. I remained silent. A month ago, I went to Professor Gary's gastroenterology clinic. I accidentally found Alvis's medical record. It was stomach cancer in the late stage, but to this day, no one else knows. I also gently lifted my head. I whispered softly, The end?